Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal, you who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, who have come to acknowledge that Yahuah is indeed the Almighty One, who manifests His word in the person of Yahusha, Mashiach. To you who seek to do His will, I salute you. To we who pursue worship and obedience and all set apartness to do the will of the Father, again, Shabbat Shalom. My name is Symmanayah. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to the 40th installment of The Inward Man, where I present the things that are stirring inside of me, things that I believe the Spirit of Yahusha have stirred within my being. Yasharal is awakening, and the time is now for us to acknowledge the drawing power of the Most High Yahuah. For it is through His drawing power that we find ourselves growing in obedience, those who earnestly pursue His set apartness. And in doing so, our actions lift up Yahusha HaMashiach as our sovereign, or for some may say king. Remember John 6:44 and visit John 12:32. And let us realize that there are stirrings within us, O Yasharal. And the things that stir within our beings, let us keep in mind 1 John 4:1. Let us speak to one another and try the spirits to see if they are indeed of the Almighty Father Yahuah. As I have mentioned often and mentioned again and again, the 144,000 and great multitude mentioned in the 7th chapter of Revelation will emerge, and it will not happen in an instant. It is a process where which we will find ourselves being refined. Those who will be amongst the 144,000 and great multitude of many nations and tongues, together made one by Yahusha HaMashiach. My brothers and sisters, we often talk freely about others and point the fingers at others and other things and other religions and other denominations. We talk about one another and different teachings and beliefs and position of leadership and fellowship. And there are many differences, my brothers and sisters. And we know inherently and spiritually, we know intellectually that not everyone can be right if there are so many differences. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, during these days, those who are indeed chosen to fulfill the final exodus and much more, those who are giving favor and are physically alive as things ramp up, we will grow to discern that unity will indeed emerge among an awakening nation. This segment focuses on leadership, and it is where I mentioned refined or disciplined or replace leaders. You see, my brothers and sisters, as end times ramp up, there are leaders among us who will be refined, who will be disciplined. We will face discipline, or we will find ourselves replaced in order that Yasharal come together and be made whole as we are gathered from the four corners of the earth. There will be intermittent movement and forced migrations from one city to the next, from one state to the next, in some cases from one country to the next, until we fully come to that set-apart mountain, that region where the set-apart mountain where Moses received the Ten Commandments, currently labeled as Jabal al-Laws. And let me spell it in case you want to research it. It's Jabalallawz, Jabal al-Laws. That is the true Mount Sinai, O Yasharal. That is the central point where we will be gathered from the four corners of the earth. And there would be millions of people surrounding that set-apart mountain. And many may find this unbelievable because they hear so many people talk about a remnant. But understand, you can have tens of millions of people and it still be a remnant when you compare it to over 7.2, 7.4 billion people on the planet. Pray, O Yasharal, to seek whether there is truth in life in these words. But leadership With so many leaders, my brothers and sisters, so many disagreements, those who are indeed earnestly seeking to discern and obey, those who are indeed chosen by the Almighty Father, we will be polished and corrected. Those of us who don't, we will be replaced, removed, may even face physical death. Of course, there are wolves in sheep clothing, and they will be forever while we're physically alive among the ranks of the wicked until such time as their judgment come. But for we who seek to be identified as a child of the Most High, he disciplined his children. That discipline, which I also use as the word refine, will come. It will come in correctness, whether one remain a leader or not remains to be seen. In some cases, correctness will come and leaders will be humble and admit and confess. In some cases, leaders will still be stubborn. Or they may have to confess that I wasn't the chosen leader and be replaced. Prepare to witness such evidence, my brothers and sisters, as leaders and mores and those who are most outspoken among Yasharal. Prepare to witness the refining hand and power of the Almighty Father. Prepare to witness the Spirit of Yahusha teaching, directing, and revealing. Prepare to witness some being replaced altogether. Replaced out of leadership position, or replaced as in purge from among the ranks of the set apart children. Let me share some scriptures with you, my brothers and sisters. For as end times come, it is paramount that we recognize that judgment indeed begins at the house of the Almighty One first, as it is written. As it is written, and I believe 1 Peter 4:17, I believe. Let me double check. And many fail to realize, O Yasharal, that it begins at the house. It will begin with those who are in leadership roles. Yes, 1 Peter 4:17. 1 Peter 4:17. There are responsibilities. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, we will see leaders be refined and disciplined or replaced. We will see this happen. Why? Because this will indeed make for ease of correctness in making Yasharal whole. For as the leader is straightened and made right, so will the congregants, the followers, the flock, oftentimes will follow where the leader go. Not all the time. For if it is established that the leader has been leading them wrong, then that leader will either repent or be replaced. Let me read this here. Psalms 32:8-9 reads, "Let me instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. Let me counsel. My eye be on you. Do not be like a horse, like the mule, with no understanding, with a bit and bridle, else they do not come near you." Let me read on to the 10th verse. I'm reading Psalms 32:8, 9, and 10. And the 10th verse says, "Many are the sorrows of the wrong, but as for the one trusting in Yahuah, kindness surrounds him." You see, my brothers and sisters, a horse or mule with no understanding, being stubborn with no understanding, requires a bit or a bridle, requires refinement or discipline to direct it in the right path. Are you? Am I? Are we a horse? Are we mules? I submit to you, no, we're not. So let us not be stubborn. Let us not be without understanding, but seek to understand, such that there is no need for a bit or bridle to bring us into subjection to what is true. James 3rd chapter, verse 3-6. James chapter 3, verse 3-6 reads, "Look, we put bits in the mouths of horses for them to obey us, and we turn their body. Look at the ships too. Also, they are so big and are driven by strong winds. They are turned by a very small rudder wherever the pilot intends." Could this ship represent camps and groups facing so many strong winds, so much adversity, so much confusion and conflict within the camps. Do not deny it. Almost all, if not all camps, there are people with differences of opinion, but they stay in compromising camps. And they whisper it to their little cliques, different cliques. We see it happening, and we see it oftentimes exposed. We've seen the breakup of fellowships and camps. We've seen the spinoffs of different groups that once was part of a larger group. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, as it says, a very small rudder wherever the pilot intends. That's the leader of that group. Can turn a larger group. It also says, so too, I'm in James chapter 3 still. I'm reading 5 and 6 now. Chapter 3, 5 and 6. It says, so too the tongue is a little member, yet boasts greatly. See how a little fire kindles a great forest. And the tongue is a fire. In the world of unrighteousness, among our members, the tongue is set, the one defiling the entire body and setting on fire the will of life. And it is set on fire by hell, or Gehenna. You see, my brothers and sisters, oftentimes when we speak, when we talk, we don't know how many people listen. We don't know how far the words we speak may go. And it can cause damage, or it can bring about the fruit of set apartness. How many who desire and envy have envious feelings about taking on leadership's role? How many desire to be a moray, a pastor, teacher, a bishop? Know that among us, we are judged first. Among us, we are held accountable. How many of us are aware of the severe warnings that exist in the scriptures? Consider Isaiah 5:11. Woe to those who rise early in the morning, pursuing strong drink, who stay up late at night, wine inflames them. Jumping down to the 18th through the 21st verse of the 5th chapter of Isaiah, it says, woe to those who draw crookedness with cords of falsehood and sin as with wagon ropes, who are saying, let him hurry, let him hasten his work so that we see it. And let the counsel of the set apart one of Yasharal draw near. Draw near and come so that we know. Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. We even see that among Shabbat. They want to replace the beginning of a day with darkness instead of light. Misunderstanding, but that's a topic in itself. And if you know me, if you've been following my position, is that Shabbat is from morning to morning. But moving on, this topic is to inform you to prepare. You may be the one being refined to take over leadership of your group. As you may discover, you have been called, you have been chosen. You may be one who is used to expose a wolf in sheep clothing, causing that current leader to repent or be purged from amongst the camp, the group or fellowship. There are warnings, my brothers and sisters, warnings that do not go unrecognized. Jeremiah 23:1-3 also say, woe to the shepherds, destroying and scattering the sheep of my pasture, declares Yahuah. Therefore, thus said Yahuah, the Almighty One of Yasharal, against the shepherds who feed my people. You have scattered my flock, driven them away, and have not tended them. See, I am punishing you for the evil of your deeds, declares Yahuah. Therefore, I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear and increase. My brothers and sisters, the final exodus is real. We will witness processes, methods that will rise among us, where leaders will be refined and disciplined and rise up stronger than ever, or purged and replaced, or just put in their correct position, our correct position, if we are not operating in the manner of which we are tasked by the Spirit of Yahusha. Ezekiel 13:2-3 reads, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Yasharal who prophesy, and say to those who prophesy out of their own heart, hear the word of Yahuah. Thus said Master Yahuah, woe to the foolish prophets who are following their own spirit without having had a vision. I want you to consider these words in Ezekiel 13:2. It says, prophesy against the prophets. I've heard mores and teachers saying that another teacher or more shouldn't be speaking against them. We're brothers in Yasharal. We shouldn't speak against one another. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, if we are doing wrong, if we are out of set apartness, if we are sadly mistaken, then he or she who is obedience may indeed find themselves speaking against the erroneous actions of a teacher or a prophet or pastor. You see, my brothers and sisters, for judgment to begin at the house of the Almighty One, as I mentioned in regarding 1 Peter 4:17, there will be judging as led by the Spirit of our Father, Yahuah, to make us straight, to bring discipline and refinement among us. Matthew 23rd chapter, verse 12 through, I'm just going to read 12. Let me just do this for the sake of time. I'm going to read some of it, but I would encourage you to read the 23rd chapter of Matthew's. I'm going to read 23:12 through 17. Whoever exalts himself shall be humbled, and whomever humbles himself shall be exalted. But woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you shut up the rain of the heavens before men. For you do not go in, nor do you allow those who are entering to go in. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you eat up widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers. Because of this you shall receive greater judgment. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you go out about the land and the sea to win one convert. And when he is won, you make him a son of hell, twofold more than yourselves. Woe to you, blind guides, who say, whoever swears by the dwelling place, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the goal of the dwelling place is bound by oath. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the goal or the dwelling place that sets the goal apart? And whoever swears by the altar, it does not matter, but whoever swears by the gift that is on it is bound by oath. Fools and blind, for which is greater, the gift of the altar that sets the gift apart? Read the entire chapter, the 23rd chapter. You'll see a lot of woes, a lot of warnings. My brothers and sisters, yes, we enjoy the camps and the fellowship. Yet, yes, we oftentimes may enjoy witnessing how a person is used by the Most High. We may be even following individuals that are in leadership role that we know are wrong, that we've grown close to, that maybe we're friends, or maybe they are quote unquote a blood relative that is leading the group or the camp or the fellowship. Prepared to witness what true refinement and discipline resembles, my brothers and sisters. Prepared to witness the Most High make correct and make straight those who would be leaders, those who are his chosen. Prepared to witness him remove the wicked from among us as we grow in discernment. Know these words, my brothers and sisters. End times are indeed here, and tense times are ahead. In the love and protection and set apartness that we desire for ourselves, our families, and to be around, it will come according to the plan of the Most High, Abba Yahuah, as he worked in us one towards another, directly in spirit, and we will find ourselves moving more and more, serving him in spirit and in truth. Never forget Revelation 3:19, which says he chastened those who are his. The Hebrews 12th chapter, how it lets us know, indeed, there is a promise to the children of the Most High. Be encouraged, O Yasharal. Be prepared to witness leaders drop like flies or be called out and removed. Be prepared to also see some leaders become more refined, humbled, and polished. Be prepared to see some replaced altogether. In due season, O Yasharal, we will see that no obstacle can stand in the way of what is expected and what must and will be done according to the words of Abba Yahuah. In Yahusha's name, we will rise up. We are seeing more and more people awakening to the truth, and we will witness that we indeed will grow in maturity as we look forward to the physical return of Yahusha HaMashiach. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, be encouraged. My prayer is that you have good health, a sound mind, and spirit, that we grow in wisdom and discernment, and that we find ourselves beginning to talk more to one another about this set-apart journey, so that we can be bound more closely to one another as end times become intense. Until next time, you have been listening to The Inward Man. My name is Symmanayah. Shalom, shalom, shalom.